What is an adventure? Why do we go in search of the unknown? How far are we willing to go in search of it? And when does the soul finally feel content? No matter what answers you find along the way, it's important that you go looking.
It's the first day of 2022 and here I am on an adventure to the mountains. I'll be riding the new XPulse 204V, and as we go higher into the mountains, we will be met with new challenges and breathtaking landscapes. They say good things come to those who wait. And my first surprise awaits me in Shimla. So it's time to go. Since its BS4 variant, the XPulse 200 quickly gained popularity for its form, function and affordability. It very quickly put Hero MotoCorp at the forefront of accessible adventure touring. As a byproduct of its experience at rallying, this was a platform for all those who wanted to enter the world of adventure touring without burning a hole in their pockets. Now here's the interesting thing though. When you look at this machine, it's simple, it's clean, and it's a lot of fun. When you hit the road or when you want to go off it, this gives you a platform to experience adventure in all its forms. Since 2019, Hero has made steady improvements to the XPulse 200. First with the BS6 variant and now with 4-valve technology. And these changes are clear as day as you feed it some gas on the highway. The new XPulse 204V feels so effortless when it sits on a highway with its new gearing at an easy 100 kmph. You still have enough power to make your overtakes and swerve and just munch down on miles as you go along. Now you know that you can cover distances quite comfortably. All you're left to do is do the raw stuff.
What's a 4-valve cylinder head? Simply put, it's all about better combustion, which results in better performance. The Hero XPulse is now equipped with 4 valves instead of 2. This helps in doing exactly that. So while it's still the same 199.6cc single cylinder motor as before, it feels more relaxed now, even at higher revs. Besides, the output has gone up. So the XPulse 200 now offers 19.1 PS and 17.4 Nm, which is certainly helpful irrespective of where you're riding. That coupled with the updated 25% larger oil cooler ensures the engine performance is more consistent, even during high stress conditions. Hero has even changed the gearing on the XPulse 200 and now it runs a rear sprocket with 42 teeth. That's up from the previous version's 35 teeth. Of course, gear ratios have been altered, which means you not only have quicker acceleration off the mark, but also a better top-end whack as well.
The new 4-valve technology and gearing ratio help me sit very comfortably at 100 kmph as I head down the Delhi-Chandigarh highway. I still have enough power on tap to make my overtakes, and with 40 kmpl in the bag, I can make a lot more time and distance between pit stops. What makes adventure riding so special is that it's very personal, to each his own. And with every passing mile, you discover the world around you and also the one within. But some grounds, some places are hallowed grounds. Here, countless men and women have tried to etch their names in search for immortality. The Himalayas is one such paradise of lost souls. When you're thinking about Himalayan adventures, only a few names can be pulled out of a bowl. Think motorsports and even fewer remain. One such name is Vijay Parmar. He's the man behind Raid the Himalaya, one of the toughest high altitude rallies in the world. He's famously known as the Mountain Man, and he's also an expert off-road trainer. With Hero having cut its teeth in rallying in competitions like the Dakar, some of that learning has trickled its way down into the XPulse 200 4V. So what better way to taste that potential than to head up to the mountains, meet the Mountain Man himself, and hit some trails here in the Himalayas.
I like how the power delivery on the XPulse 200 is a lot more predictable now, which makes it easier to play with across the rev range. This was even more noticeable when I was on the tighter roads of Shimla. But then it was time to hit a trail and see how much better things are off tarmac.
When Abhay told me that I'll be riding with Vijay on a trail, I really did not know what to expect. And the fact that he's joining me on a Harley-Davidson Pan America, that makes things more interesting. He recently summited Kela Pass on it. Standing at 18,600 feet, that's the highest a Harley has ever been. Now, what's more interesting is, this is Harley's first foot forward into the world of adventure bikes. And there he is, the man himself, on the new Harley-Davidson Pan America. Hello, sir. All good, how are you? All set for the ride? Let's go. All right. Well, rolling? All right. So it's been a fun ride down?
Yeah, interestingly, and we managed to avoid most of the traffic.
Absolutely.
Because
I mean,
the
New Year's traffic. Yeah.
New Year's rush is here still. I think they'll be going back later today.
How often do you ride this trail?
Well, quite often. We use it as a training ride for level 1 plus, level 2 riders.
Have you spent some time with the XPulse?
Yeah, actually, I did spend some time. We had an XPulse with us
Okay.
for some time. And
What do you think of the motorcycle?
well, I rode this one, the 4-valve, for a short ride during the IBW in Lonavala.
Yeah.
And I rode it for about 100 kilometers that day.
Okay.
It's greatly improved over the first one. I think the gear ratios have been smoothened out completely.
Absolutely.
And also, it wasn't equipped with a rally kit, but it handled really well. It was slightly plush. I mean, it's a bit soft for extreme rallying or something like that.
Correct.
But for your normal off-roading and the trip to Ladakh and all, I think it's now set up really well. Plus, its design seems to have improved. That oil cooler is doing a much better job than before.
Well, this is Hero's most accessible adventure and sort of enduro machine. There comes another. I mean, now they are retailing Harley in India, and this is going to be their flagship ADV. Harley's first ADV. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we've now had this bike with us for 2 rides. One was our ride into Zanskar,
Right.
which preceded the ride to Kila. And initially I was of course quite skeptical about it, in the sense that we don't see many Harleys heading out into Zanskar or Ladakh, in fact none. And it's obviously possibly because there were no Pan Ams before. But with the Pan America coming in, we took it on our, which is our iconic ride into Zanskar, and came out via Lama Yuru to Leh and back to Manali. And so it went through the middle. It was really put to the test. And it didn't give us any trouble whatsoever. It managed all the climbs. It didn't have any problems with altitude. The higher we went, it adjusted. The fuel injection adjusted completely. There was never a feeling of will the bike start? What will come loose? Nothing happened. So from that point of view, I think it was a big eye opener. And its slow speed balance is strangely very, very good.
It is, isn't
which
it?
is why one was able to, climb all those rock falls that we were trying to get up to Kila.
Right.
And because you can't rush into a rock fall, you have to kind of, step lightly over everything. That can only be done at slow speed. And its low end torque was amazing. Obviously, it's got a 1250cc engine, it's big.
Yeah.
And Harleys are known for the torque. But it was perfect for that situation.
I recently spent some time on the Pan Am and I was drawn towards it. Given the bike's likable nature despite its intimidating size, I usually take my time to warm up to bikes, but the Pan Am was quicker than I had anticipated. It's the freshness of what the Pan Am offers that made me want to go ride it even more. And I just had to ask Vijay if I could have a go on it for a day in the mountains. He smiled and said yes, and off I was, with Ben in the tow on the XPulse 200 4V. We rode deeper into the mountains in search of snow, and as we went along, we swapped bikes and exchanged notes on how the XPulse 200 and the Pan America were helping us make the most of these challenging conditions.
This Pan America 1250 is Harley's first attempt at breaking convention. First attempts in life are hardly ever perfect. But Harley has managed to give us a motorcycle so good, a full-size ADV that can actually hold a candle to some of the bigger full-size ADVs available in the market today. What I like the most about this Pan America has to be that big V-twin engine. With a massive 152 PS and 128 Nm, it's a whole lot of fun to ride. It retains all the favorite bits that we have come to enjoy Harley-Davidsons for, but only to do what no Harley has ever done before: leave the road for unpaved adventures. In fact, it's so good to ride, it's hard to believe this is Harley's first attempt at an adventure touring bike.
Out here in the winter, both bikes have their inherent advantages, especially when it comes to handling the tricky stuff like black ice and snow. While the weight of the Pan America ensured every ounce of grip that you can claw out of these tires will be made available, but you have to avoid being ham-fisted, as it is a 1250cc motorcycle. On the other hand, the XPulse offers rapid progress through the tricky stuff thanks to its lightness and agility. Of course, the rally kit that Hero MotoCorp offers can really turn the XPulse 200 into a proper mountain goat, but even bone stock, the XPulse is quite a rewarding machine off tarmac.
But here's the thing. While it would be very foolish to draw comparisons between these two motorcycles, having spent the last few days in the mountains with both of these beauties, there were some places where I actually enjoyed the XPulse more than the Pan Am. And let me tell you why. Up here, in these demanding and challenging conditions, the XPulse was sometimes not only sufficient, but actually friendlier. The Pan Am requires you to be very sure of every single move, whereas the XPulse, due to its compact and nimble structure, is so much more forgiving, especially around trails and twisty, windy roads. And that's what makes it such an accessible adventure touring motorcycle.
What an adventure this one has been. To start the year in the Himalayas, hitting a high altitude trail with Vijay, and then hitting the twisties on two very capable motorcycles like the XPulse 200 4V and the Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250. I was pleasantly surprised at how well Harley has taken to adventure riding with the Pan America. It's a format they have never explored before. But what comes as a true surprise though is this friendly little XPulse. Not once did it feel out of place in the company of a big touring machine like the Pan America. In fact, on several occasions, it felt like the more favorable option. The XPulse 200 4V is genuinely a welcome upgrade, especially the way the engine puts its power down. It's now happier on the road as much as it is off it. And it also manages everything in between too. It can be your first motorcycle. It can be your second. It doesn't really matter. Because it's like owning a Swiss Army knife. It's compact and versatile for most activities through the week. From opening a can of beans during the weekday to being a camping knife during the weekend. It's compact and pocket friendly for most adventures.